A few years ago, I was obsessed with hitting 10,000 steps a day. Every night, before going to bed, I'd check my phone to see if I reached the number. And if I was short, even by 200 steps, I'd literally pace around my living room just to complete it. One night, I remember walking in circles for almost 15 minutes, my dog looking at me like I'd lost my mind. The next morning, my legs were sore, my sleep was shorter, and ironically, I felt worse. That's when I learned something shocking. This 10,000 steps goal I was killing myself to reach was never based on science. It started as a marketing campaign in Japan back in the 1960s for a pedometer called Manpo-K, which literally means 10,000 steps meter. No one actually studied whether that number was necessary. And here I was, blindly following it like gospel. Don't let random one-size-fits-all health rules control your life. Instead, focus on what your body truly needs. If you can consistently get 7,000 to 8,000 steps and mix it with strength training or other movement you enjoy, you'll get most of the benefits without the stress and burnout. Here's why this matters. When you stop chasing arbitrary numbers, you free up mental energy and reduce guilt. You start building habits that fit your lifestyle, not some unrealistic standard. And those habits? They're the ones you can actually sustain for years, which is where the real health benefits happen. Now, that 10,000 step myth is just one of the 7 big lies Harvard professor Daniel Lieberman talked about. Lies we've been told about exercise, sleep, running, cancer, and sugar. And I'm going to break them down for you, starting with the biggest one of all. Let's start with the myth number 1. You need 8 hours of sleep. Back when I started getting serious about my health, I was obsessed with tracking my sleep. My smartwatch told me I was only getting 6 hours and 45 minutes a night, and I panicked. Every article I'd read said, you need 8 hours or you're doomed. So I started going to bed earlier, lying in bed staring at the ceiling, stressing that I wasn't asleep yet. And guess what? The more I stressed, the less I slept. Some mornings, I woke up more tired than when I went to bed. Here's the truth. Most people don't actually need exactly 8 hours. Research shows that healthy adults in traditional societies, without alarms or Netflix, naturally sleep 6 to 7 hours. What matters most is quality of sleep, not hitting a magic number. When you stop obsessing over a fixed number and focus on consistent, restful sleep, you'll feel more energized, less stressed, and you'll avoid turning bedtime into another source of anxiety. Myth number 2. Sitting is the new smoking. I used to work in an office where standing desks were the new flex. Everyone was saying, sitting is the new smoking. I felt guilty every time I sat for more than 20 minutes, so I started standing for hours while working. The problem? My feet hurt, my lower back hurt, and I found myself leaning on one leg like a flamingo half the time. It was exhausting. Sitting is not inherently dangerous. Humans have been sitting forever. The real issue is inactivity. Hunter-gatherers sit too, but they also move frequently throughout the day. If you stop demonizing sitting and instead focus on breaking up long periods of stillness, by stretching, walking, or doing light activity, you'll protect your joints, muscles, and energy without turning your workday into a punishment. Myth number 3. You must take 10,000 steps a day. One night, I was pacing around my living room at 11:45 p.m., desperately trying to hit 10,000 steps before midnight. My smartwatch was at 9,876, and I refused to fail. I finally hit it, but my knees ached the next day. Later, I found out that the 10,000 step rule came from a 1960s marketing campaign in Japan, not from any scientific study. I was stressing my body for a number that wasn't even real. Science shows that the health benefits level off around 7,000 to 8,000 steps for most adults. Anything more is a bonus, not a requirement. When you stop chasing arbitrary numbers, you avoid injury, reduce stress, and still gain nearly all the heart, brain, and mood benefits of walking. Myth number 4. Exercise is just about losing weight. When I first joined the gym, my only goal was to lose belly fat. I checked the scale almost daily. Weeks went by, and even though I was getting stronger and had more energy, my weight barely changed. I felt frustrated, like the workouts weren't working, so I nearly quit. Then I learned the scale was only showing a fraction of the benefits I was getting. Exercise isn't just about burning calories, it's about preventing disease. It lowers your risk of cancer, heart disease, depression, diabetes, and more. Weight loss is a side effect, not the main event. When you exercise for health instead of just a smaller waistline, you'll stick with it longer, enjoy it more, and protect yourself from illnesses that can steal decades from your life. Myth number 5. Aging means you can't stay strong. I once believed that once you hit 60, your strength just naturally disappears. Then I met a 72-year-old woman at my gym who was deadlifting more than half the men there. She told me she only started lifting weights in her late 60s. That's when I realized we lose muscle as we age, mostly because we stop challenging our muscles. Strength loss isn't inevitable. Resistance training can preserve and even build muscle at any age. If you keep challenging your muscles, you'll maintain independence, mobility, and confidence well into your later years, while avoiding the rapid decline that comes from a sedentary retirement. Myth number 6. Cancer is inevitable if you eat sugar or run. I used to think sugar was like poison. One slice of cake and you're doomed. I also believed exercise was just about fitness, not cancer prevention. Then I read the research. Cancer cells love excess energy, and high insulin from sugary diets feeds them. But here's the hopeful part. Regular exercise helps regulate insulin, making it harder for cancer cells to grow. Sugar alone won't cause cancer, but a high-sugar, inactive lifestyle raises your risk significantly. The solution isn't panic, it's balance and movement. When you combine a balanced diet with regular activity, you actively lower your risk of multiple cancers, giving your body a fighting chance against one of the deadliest diseases. Myth number 7. Running form doesn't matter. Years ago, I tried running to get fit. I bought fancy shoes, hit the pavement, and within weeks my knees were screaming. I thought I just wasn't a runner. Then I discovered my form was the real problem. I was overstriding and landing heavily on my heels. Once I learned to shorten my stride and keep my tibia vertical at landing, the pain disappeared. Form matters. Poor technique can cause injuries that turn people away from running for good. When you run with proper form, whether barefoot style or in shoes, you reduce injuries, run more efficiently, and can enjoy running as a lifelong activity instead of a short-lived struggle. As we wrap up, these 7 myths show how easy it is to follow health advice without questioning where it comes from. But when you replace myths with evidence and tailor habits to your own body, you create a lifestyle you can actually sustain. Start small, be consistent, and remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress that lasts a lifetime.